welcome to A Game for Your Thoughts. Today we're going to be talking about Wolfenstein the New Order. Wolfenstein the New Order is the first game in the reboot series from Machine Games in the Wolfenstein series. This game picks up on kind of a new, it's a soft reboot of the series. I think it takes a little bit of consideration from the older games, but this one it's pretty much a full-on reboot. I'm not going to lie, this game freaking rocks. I loved it. From the second I clicked start, I played this on my computer, I loved it. I thought it was a great experience. I also played this on the PS4. And so for the graphical department, I'm going to look at my experience on the PS4 for that one. My computer is not very good, and I was honestly shocked it could run this game at the lowest settings. But anyways, I'm going to start out with the story, like always. The story in this game was really, really good. It wasn't like the best thing ever, but for a Wolfenstein game, the story was really, really well done. It gave some humanity to the character BJ Blazkowicz. At first, he was always just the guy in the center of the screen in Wolfenstein 3D. But now he actually has more of a purpose. He actually has a backstory and kind of something, a motivation to keep him going. And it's really great, and they do a good job of that. I actually kind of felt for him, and I really wanted him to succeed to get his purpose that he really wants to fulfill. The story starts off in 1940 as the Americans are making the assault on Death's Head compound. He's a military general and scientist for the Nazi army. And so they're going and attacking his base, and it was a really intense and awesome first mission. It does a great job of building up the world and like, hey look, these Nazis, they got something going on with their technology, and we're doing everything we can to win this war. But very early on, this game introduces you to a choice. You have to choose between two characters, and depending on which character you choose, it gives it two different storylines or timelines or whatever. And you get different characters, stories, situations, cutscenes. It doesn't change the game all that much, but like I said, it changes some characters. This is the biggest thing. I thought this was fantastic. I mean, you're only a half an hour into the game, and it's already making you do a big choice like that. This is usually something that happens later on, but where this was at the very, very, very beginning of the game, it was fantastic. I thought it was great, and it was a hard choice. I mean, the first time I played it, I went back and forth. I was like, I can't decide. I don't know what to do, and it was great. It was intense. It was like all of a sudden just like, all right, make a choice, and you're like, whoa, what? Personally, I chose Wyatt. I liked his story better. I felt like he kind of had more of a fulfillment to it. Fergus, he was a good character too, really fun and entertaining, but I just felt like Wyatt kind of had a more of better storyline. And also it introduces the character Jay, which is one of my favorite video game moments of all time at the end of the game, which I won't spoil. But I really liked this because it let you choose between the two characters, which gave you multiple replays because you choose the first character, then you could go back and play the second character, which added more replay value, which there's more to it, but I'll get there in a second. But this was a fantastic spot to just, like I said, it throws you on the spot, like right at the very beginning of the game. That was really intense and awesome, and I liked how they did that. So after these events, some things occur. I don't want to spoil too much, but you end up in the 1960s. Time has passed, and the Nazis actually ended up winning World War II, and that's the reality of the Wolfenstein lore, is that these Nazis won World War II because of their advanced technology. And they drop the atom bomb on New York, and America just gives up, and it all goes downhill from there. And this game does a fantastic job of building up this world. There's newspaper scraps, letters, little things all around the world that you can find to help kind of fill in the gaps between that 14-year span between the 1940s and 1960s. And it does a really great job. I was invested in the world, and I was like, wow, this turned out really poorly for us. Imagine if this had happened. And this game does a fantastic job of that the whole time. Like, what if? Like, it's kind of intimidating, but it was really interesting and awesome. They did a fantastic job of building this all up. Anyways, the story follows BJ as he meets this girl, Anya, who is his nurse at the time, but then becomes his love interest, as they find the Kreisau Circle, the resistance in the heart of Berlin, as they go and do different quests and activities to try to slow down or stop the Nazis. And all these were really fantastic quests. The story was really well done. Like I said, it's nothing too spectacular or special, but for a Wolfenstein game, it was beyond my expectations. I loved it a lot, and I enjoyed it, and I liked going through and seeing the different comparisons between the two choices, and I liked that a lot. It was really, really well done. One thing this game does that I really enjoyed is it doesn't take itself too seriously. There's lots of characters and situations that are quite humorous and lighthearted, and it added a great tone to the game. It wasn't all just serious and dark and brooding. It added some humor to it. I found myself chuckling a couple of good times, and there's some fun situations that changed the tone of the game and made it more enjoyable. And like I said, it's a little silly and ridiculous, but the game knows what it's doing. It's not like, oh, ha ha ha. It's a serious game, but it has some funny moments in it that kind of clear the tension. So the gameplay of this game was so much fun. Of course, it's Wolfenstein, so there's going to be lots of shooting and lots of Nazis, and it did a fantastic job. I think the best thing about this is the variety of gameplay. The way it introduces it is you kind of have a stealth mechanic. Well, this is not a stealth game at all by any means. It's not a perfect stealth mechanic. you can stealth around using your knives to go and take out Nazis as quickly and as efficiently as possible without being seen. You can get seen. There's no required stealth sections at all. It's just kind of a fun new way to play. But then, of course, you can go in guns a-blazing. You know, you can just mow down everyone as fast as you can, and as awesome as you can, and it's awesome and fun. My personal preference is I kind of did a mix of the two. I'd start out stealth, and as I went through and was stealthing, if I ended up getting caught or seen, then that's when I'd pull out my guns and take everyone out. And it was great. I had so much fun with it, and it was a fun incentive to try to sneak around, but if it didn't work, then I knew I had a backup plan. The game never felt repetitive or boring. I was always excited for my next encounter, and then the time in between encounters was fun, exploring the world, and like I said, reading those newspaper clippings or other things to help you fill in the lore spaces. One thing this game adds that I really enjoyed was dual wielding. Now instead of carrying one gun at a time, you can carry two. And the Nazis don't stand a chance when you have dual assault rifles going, and it's a free for all. But they handle it really, really well. Instead of just making you super overpowered and being able just to take out any force in front of you, your ammo goes by really, really quick. That's one thing you got to keep an eye on your ammo and your health, because you're not invincible. And the difficulty in this game, they did it really, really well. There was times when I died, and I'd just be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have charged those guys while I was reloading. That was a stupid choice. I played the game on a medium difficulty, and it was a good challenge. It wasn't overly easy, but it wasn't super, super hard. It was about a good middle spot. I'm sure if you were playing on easier difficulties, it would be more for beginners and people who are still learning the ins and outs of a shooter game, or the super hard mode, where it's just going to be intensely hard and difficult. I've never even bothered to try that because I'm not that good. But if you're up to it, absolutely go for it. I'm sure you'll still have a great time. One thing this game also does really, really well is it introduces a perk tree. So, like I said, there was different playstyles, kind of more stealthy, more guns a-blazing, and then a kind of good mix of both. But these perk trees are actually tailored to those playstyles. As you play as one more style, as a style over the other, you're going to earn more perks and complete challenges and objectives to help you unlock these perks. It was a fantastic system that worked really, really well because it added to the game and tailored, like I said, it tailors to your playstyle. So if you play more stealth, you're going to get more stealth perks, making your stealth more effective and useful. And if you're a more guns blazing type, dual wielding, this will help your dual wielding aim better, you have more ammo, and you can run faster, move around better, you can take more hits, and great things like that. Like I said, it was really tailored to your playstyle. Also, this adds replayability because when I played through my first playthrough, I did the more stealthy route, and then I got most of the stealth perks, but then my second time through, I went a little bit more guns blazing. And that way I unlocked more of those perks, but also those stealth perks kind of applied a little bit more to my game. Then my third or fourth time through, which I played the game several times through, it's a fantastic game, I found that those perks carried over. So as I played the game more, I found myself like, oh, I never unlocked this perk, let's go and do that. And it had replay value because then I was like, oh, cool, I can unlock these new perks, which will make the game more fun and more easier. And it added variety. It was fantastic. Another spot this game has fantastic variety is the enemies. At first you have just the basic Nazis looking to not get shot, which you're going to shoot anyways because why would you not? But pretty early on it adds in a mechanic of sorts called commanders, and these guys are kind of lighter enemies, but they patrol the areas, and if they see you or catch wind of you, they raise an alarm, which makes more enemies come in. So if you're going with the stealthy route, it's nice because it kind of gives you a target, something to kind of go for instead of just like, oh, well, there's no incentive to do stealth because it doesn't matter. It does matter because if these guys see you, they're going to send more guys out, and you're going to get overwhelmed. That also applies for the guns a-blazing route. When you're going the guns a-blazing route, if you're just shooting guys like crazy, these commander guys are going to just keep calling guys in, and you're going to get overwhelmed and taken out. And there's only so much health and ammo, and so that gives you kind of a target to go for and be like, okay, I got to get rid of that guy first so I don't get overwhelmed. This was a fantastic inclusion, which added a lot of variety to the gameplay. Speaking of health and ammo and armor, this game takes a little bit more retro. Instead of having like a recovery system where over time as you kind of hang out, things will recover for you. It has a nice retro system where you have to manually pick up everything. Some people might not like it because it's a super retro system and kind of dated, but it worked really, really well in this modern game, and I really appreciated it, and it made it have that retro feel, especially with like kind of the film grain art style it has going, which I'll talk about in a second. This pickup style was tedious because you had to manually look around and find those ammo pieces and health pickups, and pick them up manually, which kind of ended up being tedious a couple times when I'd be walking along and all of a sudden be like, oh, ammo, and I was like, oh, where? And so I'd have to like hurry and look around and I couldn't find it. And so it was kind of tedious that way, but it really didn't bother me all that much. So like I said, it was a very retro thing in a modern game that I really liked. The fun doesn't stop there. There's even a hidden mini game somewhere in the home base that lets you play the original Wolfenstein. It was so fun to just hurry and jump in and play like a level or two. It was fun to just kind of relive the classics. And it was a really welcome addition. This one was a little tricky because my computer, it's just a laptop, just like a work laptop. It's not a gaming computer at all. And I just happened to get this game on sale and I was like, oh, I'll try it. And I tried it, and I loved it, and it actually works really, really well. So, like I said, it's not a gaming computer, so I can't really judge the graphics from my PC experience, so I'm going to look towards my PlayStation 4 experience with the game for the graphicals. This game has a really interesting look. Like I said earlier, it has kind of a film game style to it. If you ever played The Evil Within, it kind of has that same thing where it kind of looks kind of grainy, and it's supposed to. And I thought it was really cool. Like I said, it gives it a really retro feel in a modern game. But like overall graphically wise, it's not like a super well graphical game. It's not bad, and it's not really in the middle. It's kind of somewhere between in the middle and good. But it's not, like I said, it's not bad, it's not good, it's just kind of safe. Safe is probably the best way to say it. And comparing it to, like, for example, the sequel of the game, the new Colossus, it doesn't hold up very well. It's not a very, like I said, it's not very good. It's just safe, and it gets the job done. I never experienced any freezes or crashes, and the frame rate was good. Texture pop-ins was kind of a thing, but it doesn't bother me personally, but if that is something that bothers you, that is just something to be aware of. It's not a regular occurrence, but it is just something if you're really, really picky about texture pop-in, that is just something to be aware of that it sometimes happens. The last thing I want to point out before we wrap this all up is the soundtrack. The soundtrack in this game is phenomenal. Mike Gordon, I can't remember, I don't know how to say his name. He was also the guy that did Doom 2016. He does this soundtrack, but this game actually came out first, so I guess this guy is the one that does Doom. Anyways. He does a fantastic job. The soundtrack in this game is really, really well done. It kind of builds tension when it needs to. It's got a fun kind of build up to it. And then also, like during combat and intense sequences, it does a really good job of getting my blood pumping and getting me excited. And I just want to do a major shout out to him and his team. They did a fantastic job on this, and I'd recommend checking out the soundtrack on its own. In the end, I really loved Wolfenstein: The New Order. It was a fantastic time. Like I said, I've played through it 4 or 5 times, and each time I played, it gets better and better. I enjoyed the story for what it was, and delving into BJ's motivations and his character. He had a fun internal monologue that he would kind of speak to himself in his head, and you guys and the player could hear it. And it was fun to hear that and see that. It was great, and it gave humanity to a character who I just always thought of just being a brutal Nazi killer. The shooting in the game was quick and fun. I enjoyed the stealth mechanics. While not perfect, they were welcome and fun to mess around with and kind of toy with and try some different play styles. I loved the variety in the gameplay and the way that the perk system was tailored to your play style. That, tied in with the 2 different storylines, gave it lots of replay value. Like I said, I played this game 4 or 5 times, and I still enjoy it to this day, and it's different, and I have stuff to work for as I play. The graphics, while nothing special, they're safe, and they work, and they're fine for the game for what it is. And my PC can run it, so that's bonus points in my book. With Wolfenstein Youngblood right around the corner, which I will be doing a review for, this is a great time to jump back into this series, to either do it for the first time or to relive the great times that you had in this game. It was a fantastic experience in my personal opinion, and I recommend checking it out. I mean, this game's like $15 on Amazon for a brand new copy, so I recommend checking it out. It'll be worth your time, it'll be fun. If you're a fan of the Wolfenstein series or just enjoy a great shooter, I highly recommend this game. You're going to have a great time with it. There's so much variety and different kind of playstyles to it. So that's my review for Wolfenstein: The New Order. Keep an eye out. I'm going to have Wolfenstein: The New Colossus and Youngblood as that comes out. I'm going to do reviews for both of those, so keep an eye out for that. I'll probably add something else in between to kind of spice things up a little bit, so it's not just a Wolfenstein review bonanza. And with the 4th of July, if you're in America, now is the perfect time to go kill some Nazis. Jump on Wolfenstein and celebrate your freedom by killing Nazis. I've also got my Plays series going where I'm currently going through Fallout New Vegas. I'm having so much fun with that. I'm really enjoying it. So please go check that out and enjoy. There's like 13 or 14 episodes now. Maybe even more by the time I post this video. So yeah, go check those out. They're a great time. I'm having lots of fun with them. Once more, don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the bell, comment, all that great stuff. I'm really appreciating any feedback. I've gotten lots of really great feedback. And I'm using that to improve my videos and my content. And I really, really appreciate that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. More, thanks for watching the game, for your thoughts. Tune in next time where we'll probably be most likely talking about Wolfenstein: The New Colossus.